Welcome to another video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for your support of the channel too. My name's Warren Bennett. In this one I'm going to give you a little tip to hit the ball further straight away. Now the good news is you don't have to spend hours and hours on the range perfecting your golf swing to achieve that, or months and months in the gym trying to get stronger and quicker. This one can happen overnight straight away just by making a slight adjustment. If you grab a golf club, I'll do the same, and we can go through it together after the intro. I'll see you in a bit. Thank you very much for hanging around, everyone. You haven't tuned into the Blair Witch Project, I promise, but this camera angle is going to give you the best perspective of what I'm trying to say, and it will give you the best visuals. I will be swapping between camera angles to kind of give you the benefits of why this tip is so important, and it's the first thing I look at if people are really struggling to create speed and distance in their golf. Okay, let's get to it then. So what I'm going to say to you is extremely important, and it's something you may have heard before, but I'd like you to stick around and I'll tell you why it's so important, and you may have guessed by now. But we're going to be talking about your grip, and mainly your left hand, which is your top hand grip of the golf club. Now if you're right-handed, just flip everything I say around. So this is going to be your right hand. Sorry, I'm just going to switch golf clubs. Right, so it's your top hand. Now there are exceptions to the rule, and I'm talking about professionals that we've seen probably on the TV over the years now. There's a few people that spring to mind. So let's say with someone with a weak left-hand grip, exaggerating looking down there, there's someone you're going to see like Jordan Spieth or Jose Maria Latabel, and those guys are pretty good, eh? So there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. And the other side, someone with a strong left-hand grip. Two people that spring to mind are Paul Azinger, pretty extreme, and Bernard Langer. And like I said, those guys were pretty good. So, but mainly you're going to see someone who with a very orthodox grip on the golf club, which is going to give you the best chance to make the best pass at the ball you can. Like I said, with trying to create as much speed and as power as possible. Right, so the first thing to look at is to make sure the leading edge of the golf club, which is this bit right at the bottom here, is always pointing up. You don't want to be taking your grip with the face of the club open or closed. So always make sure it's pointing up at 12 o'clock, so that's the first check. Now when you look down at your hand, I always say your left thumb wants to be pointing slightly to the right. Now if you want to create more speed and power, and you've got a grip that's called weak, so weak looking down would be your left thumb to the left hand side of the club, so you can see your fingers, this side, your knuckles here. That's going to be extremely hard to create speed from there. Like I said, there's always exceptions to the rule, but if you're someone who can't create any speed, the first checkpoint would be make sure your hand is twisted over on the golf club. So you're going to want it to be sitting in your fingers a little bit more, so when you wrap your hand over, you can see more than two knuckles on this left hand. So when someone says you want to see 2.5 knuckles, what does that mean? Well, if you lift the golf club up, I haven't got a glove on here, it's a little bit easier, you can see 2.5 knuckles there. If your left hand is weak, your hand looks like that on the golf club. If you've what's called a strong grip, your hand is over there. So I would recommend that you want a stronger grip on the golf club and a weaker one. Right, so now you've seen what a weak left-hand grip looks like from the golfer's perspective looking down. It's to the left as you look down. Now from your perspective looking at the camera, looking at me now, it's going to look to the right. But you've seen looking down from your perspective, which obviously is the most important, it's to the left. So if you've got a weak left-hand grip, so I'm going to exaggerate this a lot, and you don't see a lot of people with a weak left-hand grip this much here. You're going to find it extremely hard to hinge the golf club correctly. Now hinging is what's called this. So if I just hinge the golf club up, it's the way the hands hinge up like that. So if you can do that at home, take your grip with both hands, don't move anything else, you're just hinging the golf club. You're just trying to hit your head with the golf club. You won't be able to do that because there's only so far the hands can hinge club. If I do it from the side view, it's a great exercise to show you and to give you the feeling of what hinging is. So it's just like you're just lifting the golf club up, but you're hinging with your wrists. Now if you've got a left hand grip that's, let's say, on the weak side, and you do that, that's about as far as I can go because the left hand doesn't want to move. So it restricts the range of motion of left hand. So I'll show you again. I'm going to really exaggerate and pull my left hand to the extreme left of the golf club. And I'm going to try and hinge from there. That is as far as I can go. I can hardly lift the club off the ground. So if you have a look of your backswing, that's something like this and collapses quite dramatically at the top of the backswing, please have a look at your grip first. Now vice versa, if I put my hand onto the strong side of the grip, so you can see a lot of knuckles, and hinge, I can nearly hit my head. So I can exaggerate it, so let's say like what Bernhard Langer and Azinger have, and I hinge now, look at the difference. So it allows that hand position like that, instead of that, allows the club to hinge. Now if you've got hinge in your backswing, you'll have automatic width. And if you're allowing the club to hinge, it gives you the depth of the golf club behind you with your arm still being here. The other way is a weak left hand, cannot hinge the club at all. So that's about as far as you can create your backswing length. Extremely hard to create power from there, if not impossible. Best thing to do if you've got a club in your hand is to always pick it up. So someone like Ian Poulter is a great one to look at. You can see he kind of always starts his pre-shot routine with his right hand holding it and he puts his left hand on. So I don't know Ian's story, but he may have had grip problems when he was young and he always did this kind of pre-shot routine where he always picked the club up with his right hand, held the leading edge up in the air, put his left hand on, made sure the grip's right. And we always say to our juniors that if you're gripping a pencil or a pen incorrectly, it'd be very hard to write very neatly. It's the same with golf. It's the only thing that's connecting you and the golf club. Now, any slight adjustments will feel absolutely horrendous, by the way. And I've got a little story after this video of the grip change that I had to do. So you're not alone if you have to make this, but all I would say is the more you can kind of get a golf club in your hand, hold even one hand or two hands, the easier it will feel. So if you want to create some natural speed and natural power, I would encourage you to have a left hand grip that's on the strong side. That's going to achieve a natural hinge on the way back, so you can see this L shape. So now you've got something to unhinge on the way through, and that's natural power. If you're looking a little bit like this, with a weak grip with no hinge, there's nothing there to get rid of, and you're going to have to create all the power yourself, and that's very restrictive. You won't be able to get the ball. You'll hit the ball a certain distance and you won't be able to get it any further than that. So having a grip on the strong side, so you just need to twist your left hand a little bit more, keep it nice and strong. It'll encourage you to hinge the golf club. You're going to feel the golf club lifting up or pointing up in the air more, and now you've got some natural lag. From there you can release it. So a little exercise that you can do without a golf ball to start with is get your grip right and then feel this hinge of the golf club. Only halfway back and then halfway through. Halfway back, feel the club lift up in the air. You'll see this little hinge of your left hand happening. You can stop at the top and check it if you like. And then from here, you're just releasing the other side. And releasing means, if I slow this down, it's your hands going from this L shape kind of back to full release, and then it's the reverse of the L the other side. Another great little exercise that you can do at home is to take your grip with both hands and to do that hinging exercise. So you're not lifting your arms up, you're not lifting your elbows up, you're just hinging the club up and down. And that's really going to start stretching any muscles or any tendons that you've got. Because if you've gone from nothing and you want to trying to create full hinge, it's going to be quite hard to do that. So that an exercise like this just can kind of warm you up and stretch you. You can actually hit a golf ball or do some practice swings like this. So if you hinge up, so you're not moving your hands up with the club, you're just hinging up, keep it there, and then just coil your body. It kind of gets you in the position you're looking for. Great exercise. And any repetition you can do away from a golf course, it'll be easier to play when you're on it. Because what you don't want to do is start thinking about too much on the golf course too. So there's your little hinge exercise. Now you're trying to create the same feeling. Get the grip right. Hands on the club. Loose enough so they can move. And you're trying to give yourself and recreate that same feeling as you did with the hinge exercise. So now I've got in a great position here to now come down and deliver it as best I can to the golf ball. One little recap. If you're weak left-handed, you're probably going to end up being, it will look quite good from here. It'll look, oh, look how wide it is, but then you're going to run out of hinge and you're going to narrow and collapse in from here. From here, you will probably early extend and cast, or you'll just shove it with your body. Extremely hard to create the correct power and speed that you want. Everyone, thank you very much for hanging around to the end of the video. Really important how you hold the golf club. I'd stating the obvious, but it is our only connection with the golf club is our hands. And if those are on incorrectly, and especially to the extreme, it's going to be really hard for you to make the best pass, and this video is all about speed and power. And if you're wanting to create that power and your hands are on incorrectly, it's going to be quite hard for you to do that, if not impossible. So I know any sort of adjustment's going to be pretty difficult. Out of my own experience, I've had to change my grip through an operation, so I had to go from an interlocking grip to an overlapping grip. And that took a little bit of time, and I'd played for 30 odd years this way round, so having to create a new grip or change it completely, you know, it was really difficult at the start, but we're only talking a few days, and once I became kind of natural to that, it was fine. And if I had to go back the other way, it would feel dreadful. So it will work, but you just have to be a little bit patient with that, and I would encourage you to speed the process up, is to kind of get a golf club into your hand as much as you can. So if you're watching at home or watching the TV, I mean, get a golf club in your hand, or if you boil in the kettle, get your club, get your hand on it, and just make that slight adjustment. And I would always would encourage you to just over exaggerate it a little bit, because what we see will probably go back to your old way on the golf course. So if you can exaggerate it, and that would speed the process up a little bit for you, hopefully, as well. But yeah, just have to be a little bit patient with it, and trust it. And there's a few pointers in the video that I go on about natural speed. Natural speed is something that actually happens for you without you knowing about it, and having your hands on the golf club will encourage that. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. I really hope that this video, you can take something out of it. And one little statement I kind of came up with is knowing it isn't enough. So knowing that you need to grip it correctly isn't enough. You have to go out and do it. And there might have to be a little pain barrier to go through for a while. But like was said before, the more you can get your hands on the golf club, the best chance you have to kind of get them natural and to feel natural. There's always going to be a little period of stickiness, but the more you can get your hands on there, get them used to being in this new position, the better. Everyone, thank you very much again for watching. Good luck with everything, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheerio. Bye-bye.